Yellow, hello. How's it going, people? Oh, wait, let's push the right buttons here. Use a stream key. Copy. Add this one. Settings. Stream. Stream key. Oop. Okay. Start stream. Hello, hello. How's it going? Good morning. Okay, so I pushed that button, and then now we gotta make sure that's going, and then we push the go live button. Doing it a little different this morning, but it's fun. It's good. We're learning. Okay. Sweet. Cool. Well, good morning. Cheers. Got my coffee. What do you got going on this morning? Welcome, welcome. I think I figured out some lighting stuff for my camera. So you know how it would adjust and be super dark? And so I'm gonna test this out this morning because I got some nice sunshine right on me. And I don't have too many other extra lights on right now. So it's nice and bright and I'm loving it. It's great. So welcome and good morning. Donna, good morning. So good to have you with me. Sorry I didn't schedule a live for this morning. I always forget on Sundays to do that. Well, it's because Sundays are really off. It's delightful. Okay, well, let's get her started. If you want to start seated or laying down, totally your choice. I've been enjoying seated so I can drink coffee and talk to you guys. But you are welcome to start in any position that you feel comfortable in, that you can take a big breath in, that you can start to notice and scan through the body, because this little time that we take at the beginning of our yoga class is about feeling in towards the body, becoming aware of what's going on, those tight spots, those open spots. And as we can build that kind of awareness, first of all, that's building mindfulness, which has a number of different categories to it. But as you build that, it actually has some really positive effects for the brain. That awareness can help fight things like depression, anxiety. If you're overstimulated and you get decision fatigue, that awareness just helps combat all of that and get you through life. So it's cool that it's naturally built into yoga to take a couple of moments to scan inward, build that awareness, and really you can even practice some non-judgmentalness with that as well, of simply just noticing it without thinking of it as good or bad, which I also think is really powerful of staying objective. That you can just think of how many circumstances that would be very helpful in. So it's cool that all of that is built in to yoga and we can practice it on ourselves, a nice safe environment. Wonderful, delightful. All right, let's take a sip here. So maybe you scan from head to toe. Maybe you scan from toe to head. Not just noticing. You notice we either just notice the joints, so we'll look at like ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and neck, or you'll notice just the muscles, hamstrings, quads, back muscles. So make sure you're noticing a little bit of both so that you can start to feel into both sets of those systems. And let's connect in with the breath as well. The breath is such a powerful tool. So let's breathe it in nice and deep. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale, let it out. So take another one of those and start to breathe, activating into that diaphragm. So breathing into the belly, filling the entirety of the lungs as well. Really feeling the entirety of the rib cage, the abdomen, and the collarbone really start to expand with that breath. And exhale, let it out nice and slow. See if you can start to slow down that breath. Now roll your shoulders back and down. Notice if that gives you a little bit more room to take one of those big, giant, beautiful inhales, really filling everything up. And exhale nice and slow. So little positions that we can get our body into and can help with something like breathing. That rolling the shoulders back and down is a great one, not only because it forces the heart to lift a little bit, but it actually tells the brain that it is safe and okay and calm. As you start to hunch up and get a little tighter and a little more stressed, your brain is switching over to that sympathetic nervous system. So when you roll your shoulders back and down, it helps it switch to the parasympathetic nervous system. Oh, cool. All the fun things I'm learning. That one's from Dr. Jody Carrington. Thank you for that one. She talks about posture a lot here and there. So let's take just a few more breaths. If you'd like to set an intention for our practice, for our time together, it's such a beautiful thing to do. So to think of a little purpose for the hour we spend together, for your movement you take. What's your motivation maybe? And just your intention, what brings you to your mat. Let's seal that in with a nice big inhale. And a nice full exhale. Really see if you can force that extra little bit of air out, the little squeeze that happens. Then you can return to that natural rhythm of breathing. Beautiful. So good. If you're seated, let's roll on down onto our backs this morning. So we'll start nice and gentle, rolling down. Keep those shoulders rolled back and down as you get down there. And we can bend the knees and plant the feet onto the mat. So feel all of that really wonderful space, that slight tuck of the chin, so you're not overarching through the spine, having really healthy spine movement here. A really great posture. Let's take an inhale breath and see if you can get a little bit taller. See if even right here you can start to lengthen, feel all that wonderful natural traction. Maybe you're imagining maybe a little string pulling through the top of the head, lengthening that way. And then let's think of the tailbone. Think of a little string on the tailbone too, just gently pulling from both sides of the body, feeling all of that length through the spine, letting those little jelly discs kind of suck back in between the vertebrae, adds that extra bit of length. That is where they're meant to be. That is their proper home. So as we lengthen, we give them that room, we counter gravity, and we're just so subtly working really hard here to keep all of that length, and then let's relax everything. Just melt into your mat. It's a really subtle movement, but it's really beneficial for the body. And so it's a great thing to do if you've been at a computer or slouching over your phone for an extended period of time. Just take a little moment. You can come into this position and start to just breathe in and lengthen. Keep that chin nice and tucked. Let's take another one of those movements. So getting as tall as you possibly can. You might even notice you press your shoulders ever so slightly in to help anchor in. Maybe you're pressing into your feet to help lengthen through the tailbone. That low back should be pressing in towards the floor. There shouldn't be any overarching happening there. So that spine is as long as possible. Keep lengthening. And let's exhale. Come back to that nice jello. Beautiful. Let's add the arms into this. We'll call it the good morning stretch now. So take that big inhale, reach the arms up overhead, and see if you can really lengthen through the arms. We keep the spine lengthening as well. If you want a little more, start to point the toes. You can feel that opening all through the front body. You feel that arch of the back now. It lifts off if you extend the legs. That's okay. Let it feel really good. Giant big stretch. And exhale, pull the knees in towards the chest. Take that gentle rock from side to side. And giving that low back a nice little massage. Let it feel really good. Excellent. Maybe feel it over your shoulders. I cannot wait for massage therapists to open back up. I'm so glad I get to see my chiropractor. But that is the next thing I'm really missing, is a massage. All right, let's find our stillness. And let's send our feet up towards the ceiling. So So just starting off really gentle and be holding on to the backs of the legs. You can give a little pat, bring some blood flow to that area. You can work on straightening the legs. Mine first thing in the morning, I've got a huge bend here. I haven't really done anything to lengthen my hamstrings, and I'm a side sleeper. And I sleep with my knees tucked in, so they get all light to shorten and shrink up. And so this is just a great stretch for me first thing in the morning. I'm flexing my feet, I'm elongating the back line of the body, starting to wake up those muscles, and having the feet above the head is a nice counter move for how we stand and spend a lot of our time just returning the blood flow to the torso. Really great way just to start that, make those veins work. So like all sorts of good stuff from this pose. It's really quite wonderful. So if you want to keep it really gentle, you're holding onto the legs, or you can even grab a strap and lasso the feet. And if you want to work a little harder, maybe working into those hip flexors ever so slightly in those abdominals, you're just letting go. You're using that core strength to keep the feet up in the air. I'm going to take just a gentle little tick-tock from side to side. Really easy. The farther you let your feet fall down, the more intensive this will be. And you can still do this with your hands on your legs. Just make sure you can stabilize. So bring your hands down. We'll let you lower your feet a little bit more. Imagining that just being a little massage on the low back if you want to keep this extra gentle. Or if you're wanting to add a little warmth in this morning, make sure your hands alongside to help you stabilize. And we're getting into those obliques a little bit, those side body muscles, as we nice and slowly use those obliques to lift the legs back up. So feel that little squeeze that happens alongside the body. You can do this with knees bent as well. And if having that length isn't serving you, I was just trying to incorporate a little bit of hamstring stretch in there as well. Excellent. All right, let's come back up. Come to our stillness. Extend nice and long. Beautiful. Let's bend left leg. Plant the left leg down towards the mat. Keep that right leg up in the air. Press that low back in towards the mat. Still that nice tuck of the chin, so notice if you started to gaze backwards, readjust that, and let's lower the leg nice and slow. And bring the leg back up. So work it into that right hip flexor. As we lift and lower the leg, we'll take 10 of these, or about 10 of them. Just feeling that little bit of warmth, warming up our hips. Warming up all those muscles around the pelvis that help control the leg. If you want a little bit more challenge, you can bring that left foot to a hover as you bring that right leg up and down. That'll pull a little more core into it. But this is supposed to be my extra gentle class. So, option is keep the foot down and lift and lower. We got just a few more left here. You might really be feeling a bit of a burn. If that's the case, you can always adjust and not lower the leg down all the way. Excellent. One more. Lowering nice and slow. Bring that foot all the way up. And let's cross it on top of that left leg. So right leg is on top of left leg. And let's let the legs fall towards the left. Coming into just a nice little twist. Try and keep that right shoulder blade planted down. You can keep the legs crossed if you want to uncross them a little bit. Having that right knee go up towards the ceiling. That's nice, but I like the two coming down this morning. Knees goes off towards the right. You want to include the neck in that rotation all the way through the spine. Completing that twist. Beautiful. Let's release. And adjust the neck, coming back up. Excellent. And uncross the legs. Let's bring that left foot up towards the ceiling now. Take a little moment, start to feel that nice pull on the hamstring. It got a nice break, pressing down into the ground. So we'll just let it reactivate here. Take a nice big inhale. Let's lengthen through the spine. And exhale. A little engagement through the core. Take an inhale. Let's lengthen, get nice and tall. And exhale. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. Beautiful. Let's start to lower the leg down. Nice and slow. If you'd rather go faster, you're more than welcome to if you want to get that heart pumping a little bit. Always that option to bring that right foot to a hover, engaging the core. Just starting to activate a few more muscles. Should you choose, let that completely be optional to you. What feels best, what do you actually need from today's class. Excellent. Moving through, we're about halfway done. Slowly lifting and lowering the leg. Feeling that hip flexor. Maybe you feel it right on the front of the leg, maybe a little more off to the side. Each body's a little bit different. We hold our tightness a little differently. I feel it's way more in the front. So good. Finding that warmth. We've got just a few more. Lift and lower. Keep breathing. Keep remembering to engage that breath. Excellent. And last one, lower it down nice and slow. And bring it all the way back up. If that right foot was hovering, plant it back down, cross left leg over top. Then drop the legs down towards the right. Gaze can go to the left. And coming into a nice twist. Right hand can also go on top of the legs. Should you want to add that extra little bit of weight in. Beautiful, nice twist to help warm up. Feels so good. Excellent. Holding for one more little breath here. Return the neck to neutral and start to untwist, coming back up. Uncrossing the legs, planting both feet in towards the ground. Walk those heels in nice and close to the sits bones. Make sure the knees are tracking over and in line with the hips and the feet. So try to make that nice line. Shoulders are still rolled back and down. Take an inhale, get nice and tall and long. Exhale, engage the core. And let's press into the feet. Lift those hips up off the ground, coming into a nice little bridge posture. So feeling that little back bend that's happening, press those shoulders in towards the mat. Let all the strength be from happening right there. Imagine the heart lifting up. Hands can reach down for the heels. Maybe a little finger touches the back of the heels. And if you want a little more, keep lifting those hips. See if you can create all of that openness through the front line of the body. Remembering to breathe, remembering to use your feet to ground in, keep pressing not just into your heels but into your toes as well. Use the entirety of the foot to create all of that wonderful space. Excellent. Keep holding for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's roll down nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time, almost like you can count them all as you roll down. Feeling that nice little massage as you land all of the spine back down into the mat. Excellent. Let's counter that by hugging the knees in towards the chest, or you can reach out through the knees for the feet. Taking a little happy baby right off the bat. Resetting that spine, opening up into the hips. It's a wonderful stretch. Excellent. And if you want a little challenge, we're going to come up to seated. You can do it trying to stay holding on to your feet, or you can roll onto your favorite side and come on up. Gotta have a little bit of fun at these weird challenges of getting up in. So just sitting in a nice cross-legged position. We'll start to warm up through the arms and connect movement with the breath. So those inhales, reach those arms up nice and tall. Exhales, pull the hands to heart center. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, pull it in. Beautiful. Let's take one more of those, reaching up nice and tall. And exhale, let's come into a nice little bow, a little forward fold. Coming down as low as you'd like. Maybe you want to drop the hands down. Drop the head, extend the head nice and long. Keep trying to find length through the spine here, so not hunching into the shoulders. Roll those shoulders away from the ears. Get nice and tall. Maybe you feel that gentle pull on the hip. Connecting in. Feeling the body, feeling the feels Gotta feel it to heal it. So if you're not feeling it, how are you gonna heal it? All right, let's press on up. Means you gotta embrace some of the darker side. Roll those shoulders back a couple of times. And take a couple nice big circles. Come to stillness. Excellent. Let's reach the arms out wide like a T. And give yourself a nice big hug. Bring your left hand on top. Right hand comes underneath. Lift the elbows. So create that nice little pull sensation. Maybe even that little resistance where the arms come to touch. Actively pulling that left elbow into the right. So feel that nice resistance as you give yourself that nice little hug. Beautiful pull on that left shoulder. Working on stabilizing and strengthening through those muscles. And keep lifting the elbows up nice and high. Keep that core engaged and keep lengthening through the spine. So with a nice tall spine, we're activating into that shoulder. Keep pulling. Beautiful. Exhale, just relax the arms. We'll do that 2 more times. So relaxing through the shoulders. Just let the arms hang heavy. Still holding on at the shoulders though. Beautiful. Let's start to bring those elbows back up, setting into that position. And then let's add that resistance. So really try to bring that left elbow out towards the middle of the room, but that right forearm is pulling it back in. Feel that wonderful resistance. And beautiful. Keep that pulling. Keep that tension, keep those elbows lifting, pull that core in to engage, and relax, big exhale. And let the elbows hang. Take a little shimmy from side to side if you want to help release and work some of those back muscles. Outstanding. All right, find your neutral. Let's start to lift those elbows up. Let's create that tension, create that pull, embracing the fact that sometimes tension can be good. Excellent. Keep that pull, keep that push happening as strong as you can. Are you still lengthening through the spine? Can you lift those elbows up? Maybe just another millimeter more. And keep pressing, and exhale. Relax the arms and release. Give them a little shake. Notice how left shoulder is feeling versus the right shoulder. Beautiful. So good. That's such a neat one. I really like it. All right, let's bring the arms out. Let's get the other side done. So this side, this time, bringing the right arm on top, the left arm tucks in underneath, holding on to those shoulders, lengthening the spine, engaging that core, and let's lift the elbows up. Find that nice engaged position, still nice and strong, and then let's add that tension in. So pushing that right elbow into the left hand. Connecting in with that breath, start to feel that pull, feel that tension in the shoulder. Keep holding it nice and strong. Keep moving. This helps stabilize our downward dogs. This helps stabilize any overhead movement we do. And keep holding. One more little breath. And exhale. Relax those arms back down. Maybe give your shoulders a little massage with your hands. Maybe take the little wiggle. Beautiful. Come back to your neutral. Come back to a little bit of stillness. Let's lift those elbows up. Maybe you're feeling lots of pull and stretch even happening here. And then let's start that engagement. Pressing that right elbow. Start to activate. Try to pull it away from the body. And use that left hand to keep it in. Excellent. Keep holding here. Keep holding. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Feel that tension. Push that elbow. So strong. And exhale. Drop the elbows down. Beautiful. Maybe take that little wiggle. So good. All right, here's our last one on this side. So let's lift those elbows up. Engage that core. And start to push that elbow. Create all of that resistance. Let it be wonderful. Keep squeezing. Maybe you notice a little bit of warmth that you're even creating. Maybe that's just because I'm in the sun, but I'm definitely aware that I'm slightly warmer than I was when I first started these. Keep pressing, keep holding. Feel that resistance. Keep it going, keep it going. Remembering to breathe. Don't hold your breath here. And exhale. Relax the shoulders down, nice and slowly. Open the arms back up. Beautiful. Let's switch the feet. Opposite foot on top or in front. Getting into that non-dominant side. And inhale, reach it up. Feel those shoulders. Reach it up nice and tall. Pull the hands down, heart center. Reach it up. Inhale, exhale, pull it down. One more nice one, nice and tall. Reach it up and exhale, hands to heart. Let's come into that nice little bow. Roll those shoulders back and down. And start to just lean forward. Maybe you feel a little pull in the small of your back. Maybe bring your hands down. Find that spot that feels good on that hip, on the low back. Maybe even through the shoulders. Extend the head nice and long and strong. Connecting in with that breath. Beautiful. Maybe you come a little deeper as we hold and release. Excellent. And slowly start to press into those hands. And coming back up to our nice neutral seated position. And let's bring the arms out wide like a T, but this time, let's drop left hand down, reach right hand up. So option is to hang out here. If you want, you can come down onto your forearm. Arm can go behind the neck. If you want, it's just a nice little side bend, just a different way of getting into it than always bringing the hands overhead. And then leaning over. So you stabilize first by planting a hand into the mat, and then you can adjust your depth. You can even add a little pulse in here if that feels good. Excellent. All right, let's find your stillness. Keep pressing that right hip down in towards the ground if it's floating up. Beautiful. Let's come all the way back up. Bring the arms out nice and wide and come into the other side. Right hand touches down. Left hand can either just hang out on that nice T, making that nice line, and tuck behind the head. You're going to walk those right fingertips forward. You can add a nice little pulse in, maybe coming down onto forearm. This is my tight side. It's totally different. We're working on it though. We're trying to even it out. For now, I just acknowledge, I have awareness that this side is different. Can't go as deep, and I respect that. Beautiful. Let's find our stillness and hold. Still extending long through the crown of the head, rolling those shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful. Let's press into that bottom hand. And coming up, releasing. And coming into our all fours or our tabletop position. So swinging around and rolling over those knees, however you like to get there. Excellent. I'm sneaking a little sip of coffee before it gets too cold. Making sure those fingers are nice and wide and stacked underneath the shoulders. Let's inhale to look up, drop the belly down. Exhale, tuck the chin, round through that spine. Making that nice angry, that Halloween cat. Inhale to look up. Feeling all of that movement, that mobility that you have through your spine. And see if you can notice movement happening between each one of the vertebrae. And so as you're in your cow, you really press that belly down. And you extend along through the head. And then starting by tucking the chin, spinning the spine from the top, and curling it all the way through to the tailbone, pressing in, and coming back to that cow, starting with the tailbone dropping down, letting the head be the last to look up, and extending nice and long. Let's take one more of those, nice and slow, tucking the chin, rolling all the way through, Nice angry cat. Really press into those hands. Send those shoulders up. And starting with the tailbone, starting to untuck. Firmly under, feel that rib cage press down towards the ground. Head extends up high towards the ceiling. All the length. And then make yourself into a nice flat back. See if you can find that nice neutral position. Beautiful. So good. Let's tuck the toes under. Making sure you got all toes nice and involved here. And then let's work on sitting back on the feet. Bring the hands closer to the knees. You can stay bowing forward, should you like, or maybe bring your hands onto the legs, or even the shoulders right over the hips. Maximum weight now pressing down on those toes, on the feet. This is really good for stretching out your arches. This might be really painful if you wear a lot of high heels. So you're starting to stretch into some of those muscles that might not be used to it. But foot health is super important. There's so much that happens with our feet, not only with the connective tissue in our body, so there's connective tissue that runs all throughout our body from head to toe, from eyebrows, behind the head, down the back line, down the hamstrings, down the back line of our knees, through the Achilles, and then right to the center. That's one of our lines, our back fascial line. You have your frontal line, your spiral lines, your deep frontal line. What else do you got? I think there's two more. Never remember the name of the last two, but that's okay. I should look it back up. So as we sit on our feet here, we're activating into that. If it's getting too much, you can come off of them, but keep working on trying to keep that stretch happening between the toes, through the feet. Footwork is actually very cognitive yin practice, which I really like. And with yoga, it's one of the only sports or activities that I know of that is practiced barefoot. And so I think that's cool that there's so much attention on the feet and awareness of the feet. All right, let's come out of this nice and slowly. So don't jump out of this by any means. Let's start just by planting the hands close to the knees. Walk those hands a little bit more forward. Untuck the toes. If you need to give them a little pat on the mat, that magically seems to help release them. Let it feel good. All right, find your stillness. This time we're going to do shoelace side of the foot down. And so feet nice and flat. Walk those hands in a little closer towards the knees as you slowly start to sit back. Maybe you start to bring your hands up. At any point, you can adjust by coming back down or lifting the seat off of the heels. It's the dishwasher being unloaded in the next room, but that's good. I'm glad it's getting done. So this is now stretching the front part of the foot. Maybe you're feeling that a little bit into the shins. I'm feeling that on my Achilles, but only because it's so super tight. I've been working on that for a couple of weeks now, which is why I'm learning lots about foot health and incorporating it into this class. So even just stretching out the ankles. Feet are also the only predictive thing that we have in our body. Every step we take, our foot is trying to gauge what the next step is going to be like to determine how it needs to land. Whether you need to land toe first, heel first, and then rocking to either side. And from there, there's that ankle stability that needs to happen. So as we take a little time to stretch into this, we're making sure that we still have mobility and movement in our feet, working with our range of motion, that pointing and that flexing. I'd love to do like a rollerball class, because if you roll your feet, if you roll your feet every day, I don't even do that. I wish I did. But I know it makes a huge difference when I do it. So hanging out here, a couple more breaths, feeling into it. Sorry if this is torture for you. I do actually try to do both of these every day. So that's part of how I sit if I'm watching TV. It's like this, and with my toes tucked under, or if I'm cleaning something, cleaning off a coffee table, I'll sit on my feet to do so. There's little ways you can incorporate it every day without it being solemnly sitting on your mat, but it's kind of enjoyable to do so. So notice, are you compensating by hunching into your shoulders, lowering that low back, Can you start to find that length and that posture through the spine? Beautiful. All right, let's come out of this nice and slow. So see if you can just slide your hands down your legs, pop them into the mat, then start to pull yourself back into that tabletop position. And give those feet a little pat on the ground if that feels good. Maybe you want to curl the toes under. Excellent. Let's make our way into a downward dog. I just want to get into a few little standing postures. And so pressing your hands in towards the mat, tuck those toes under, press the hips up nice and high, and let's pedal out the feet, give them some love. Maybe you're stretching through the calf as you try to get your heels down. Let that just be a nice calf stretch. So good. Beautiful. Find your stillness. Really lengthen and elongate through the spine and through the arms. Let's look towards the front of the mat. Hop, step, jump, or tiptoe into that nice forward fold. Let the head hang nice and heavy. Feel that nice stretch of the back line of the legs. You can bend the knees a little bit if those hamstrings are really tight, if you want to release more of that low back. So good. And let's start to bring a little movement in towards the legs. So maybe you bend through one knee a little more and stretch up the other side. Working through just one side and the other. Feeling good on that hamstring. And this is actually good for your ankles. So there you go. Today's about the feet and the shoulders. Maybe even the hips. We'll just get the whole body done today. All right, find your stillness. Nice and strong through both legs. Let's come up halfway. Roll those shoulders back and down. So much length through the crown of the head. Beautiful. Bend the knees. Sink the hips. Press all the way up to standing. Reach up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach it up nice and tall. Nice, beautiful stretch. Exhale, hands to heart. Since we are working with feet and with ankles, let's do a couple of heel raises. So making sure your feet are hip distance apart. Let me just face you here. So I've got a little bit of space between my feet, making sure my femurs and my legs are nice in line with where they would naturally be, nice and strong through the body. Shoulders are open, palms reaching forward. Wonderful, nice mountain pose. Let's shift the weight into the toes, lift the heels up. So maybe you're pressing in, coming up nice and tall. Exhale, lower down. So we'll do 4 of these. So here's 3, coming up, lowering down. Last one, up and down. Take a little moment and squeeze the toes, maybe pitter-patter them in towards the mat. Find your stillness. Now let's do 4 more. So I have learned that this motion, there's a ballet company in Australia. Here's our last one, 4. That does 16 of these, so 4 sets of 4, just like we're about to do, before as a part of their warm-ups. And the difference that they have seen in their lower leg injuries has gone down like 60 or 65%. It's been huge just by adding some calf raises. Let's come into our 3rd set, pressing into those toes, trying to come up nice and tall, lowering those heels down with control. So take a moment, see if when you're in your toes, you can really find that extension nice and strong through the back line of the legs, coming down nice and slow. Beautiful, there's 4. Take a little moment, activate into those toes. I like to just try to squeeze them one by one into the mat, or squeeze them all together. Beautiful, here's our last set of 4, so pressing into those toes, hanging out on those tippy toes, lowering down. Excellent, here's 2, and 3, and 4. Excellent, thanks for entertaining me with those. They're really quite healthy to do. And we can incorporate those into a number of yoga poses. Beautiful. Let's inhale, bring those arms up. Exhale, pull the hands to heart. Take a little moment, recenter. Activate into the hands. So press the hands together nice and strong. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Beautiful. Let's step left toes back, coming into that high lunge position, so staying high up on those toes. You can bring the hands onto the hips. Roll right hip back, push left hip forward. Excellent. Pressing into maybe those back toes if you want a little more stretch on the toe itself, feeling that through the quad or through the hip flexors on the left side. Excellent. You can adjust the stance closer together for more ease, farther apart for more challenge. And let's bring the arms up, reach up nice and tall. Make sure those ribs aren't puffing out, pull them in, be nice and strong through that core. And let's have palms facing forward and pull the elbows down into your cactus position. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Let's reach it up. Exhale down. Reach it up. And exhale down and hold. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Really pull those elbows as far open as they possibly can. And then let's bring forearms together, coming in front of the face. And open up. Excellent. Back together. And squeeze open. Last one together. And open. Excellent. Relax the hands down. And plant that left foot down. Transitioning this into our warrior two. Sinking into that right leg. Left toes are pointing towards the long edge of the mat. Arms sweep out, and if you want, you can try to come up onto your tiptoes of that right foot. Here's a great way to engage the calf a little more. You want to add a little extra strength in. Beautiful. Just nice warrior two. Imagine the opening of that left hip. Let it feel really good. Beautiful. Let's drop the hands down. Bring them to heart center. Twist towards the right. Hop back up on those left toes. Working with that little bit of balance between those two transitions there. And let's step towards the top of the mat. Excellent. Standing nice and strong. Hands at heart. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, hands to heart. Reach it up nice and tall. And pull the hands through. Step right toes back. And coming into that nice high lunge position. Hanging out on those toes. Pressing the toes in towards the mat. Bring your hands onto your hips. Roll left hip back. Press right hip forward. So at any point here, you can drop down onto that right knee if the high lunge isn't serving you. So taking a little moment, finding that strength through the legs. Let's bring the arms up overhead. Beautiful. Pull those low ribs in, nice and strong. Let's bring palms facing forward and pull down into our cactus. So elbows and come to that nice 90 degrees and reach it up. Make sure that core is engaged. That creates a nice little tuck of the pelvis. Third one. Come on down and reach it. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Take a little moment in that stillness, trying to open the arms up as much as you can. Lift through that heart. Beautiful. Let's bring the forearms together in front. And open. If you want more, you can imagine resistance. Making it a challenge to open and close. Last one together. Open it up, nice and strong. Keep pressing into those legs, into the feet. Let's relax the arms down and drop that right heel down. Coming into that warrior two, you can adjust the feet as you need to. Sinking into that left knee. You can reach the right arms out. Imagine that right hip finding some openness. Nice big inhale. Bless you, doggy. Nice big exhale. Beautiful. Just working on some strength in our warrior. If you want, you can try to lift that left heel up, coming onto the toes, activating into that calf. Excellent. Let's drop it down. Bring hands to heart. Let's twist towards the left, hopping back up on that back toe. Beautiful high lunge. And with control, let's see if we can step towards the top of the mat. Excellent. Let's inhale, reach it up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach it up nice and strong. Exhale, from hands to heart. Excellent. And let's bend the knees, sink the hips. And just coming into our little chair pose, just so that we can connect the body with the legs. Drop the head down, press into the feet, coming into your forward fold through your chair pose. I think that transition is super fun. It's a great way to protect that low back. Excellent. Hang it out here, feeling that nice stretch. If you've got a block handy, that might be helpful, but we can always use the body to prop here. So let's inhale, let's come up halfway. Excellent. And then let's bend through the left knee. So your option is to either put elbow on the knee or place your hand on a block if you would rather that arm be nice and straight and you have a block. So you can start with both hands touching the block. Right hand stays nice and light because we can add a nice twist in here, reaching that right arm up. So left arm either reaches down or you have the elbow on the knee. Hand reaches up. You're going to feel this on the right side through the hip, maybe through the IT band, maybe through the glute a little bit. There's a wonderful stretch to get into the sidelines of the hips, of the body. Make sure those shoulders are crunching up by the ears. Try to lengthen the head out a little bit. Let it feel really good. If having the arm up doesn't serve you, you can always bring the hand onto the back. I just like to create that openness through the twist. Trying to stack shoulder over shoulder. Let it feel really good. Trying to keep that right leg nice and straight, but not hyperextending, connected with the breath. We'll hold for 2 or 3 more rounds of breath. So really start to get into that stretch. Start to get into the mind. Beautiful. Last big inhale. See if you can lengthen. Exhale. See if you can soften. Let's reach that right arm back up. And bring it back down. Coming just into a nice neutral forward fold. So both legs straight. You can drop the head down, let it hang nice and heavy. Excellent. Let's inhale, halfway lift. Pressing the hands maybe just above the knees. Getting nice and tall. And let's bend through that right knee now. As my dog gets up. That's what that was. Bend through the right knee. You can plant the elbow just above the knee or on your block if you've got one. Left hand just dangles down at first. And let's start to open it up into that twist. Rolling that left shoulder open. Reaching up. Feeling that extension through the crown of the head. Feeling that nice openness through the left hip. Feeling that stretch and that pull there. Let it feel really good. Holding here for a couple of rounds of breath. Starting to settle into it. Using that restorative, that yin practice to control the mind and the thoughts. Being aware of what you're thinking and maybe not interacting with it. Maybe using the breath as your anchor. Keep trying to find openness through that left shoulder. If that left arm is getting tired, you can always tuck it behind the back. So good. Beautiful. We got 2 more breaths here. Last one. Nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. And let's slowly bring that left hand back down, not rushing this. Straightening through both the legs and dangling in a nice forward fold. Let the head hang nice and heavy. Just set my block off to the side. So good. Excellent. Inhale, halfway lift. Extend nice and long. Make sure that head and the heart are on the same level. And then let's bend the knees so you can plant the hands, take a nice step back into your downward dog. Pressing into those hands. Feel that length, maybe pedal out the feet. How do the legs feel? How are those hamstrings? How are the hips? Beautiful. Okay, just barely have time for it. I want to do a little pigeon pose. So I'm going for it. So, bring a bend to your left knee. Bring the knee towards your left wrist. And drop the leg down. So just noticing how it's landing. You get the dog hair. No, that was my hair. I don't know. Just walk that right knee back a little bit, kind of adding some more length. If you have lots of space underneath that left leg or that left hip, a block is a wonderful tool to add a little support in, to bring the ground a little closer. Let's keep our shoulders in line with our hips. Keep rolling that right hip down. And before we relax into this, let's squeeze those glutes together. Press into the legs. See if maybe you can walk your hands a little bit closer, or even bring the hands up off the ground. So this is just preparing the hips and the legs to be nice and strong. Beautiful. And then you can exhale, bow it down, you can drop the hands down, and coming into your sleeping swan or your restful pigeon. And you can come down as low as you'd like to go. If you want to keep your hands planted and everything nice and engaged, that's a great option. If you want a quad stretch, you can bend through that right leg, maybe even reach onto it, bring the foot towards the sits bones. Or if you just want to melt into this pose, you can bring the head down, maybe even onto a block, onto the ground. You can reach the arms out long. All sorts of fun variations. If you have a favorite version of this, you're more than welcome to take it. Just be very aware of the body. This kind of targets into that piriformis, so into that left glute. If you're feeling an overstretch, you can ease off of this a little bit. So walking that foot back in and staying kind of rolled over onto that left leg. So let it feel really good. Connecting in, taking that breath, using that exhale to soften. Can you just melt into this? Should this posture not work at all for you, if you don't got this traditional pigeon, there's a reclined version of it. So if you roll onto your back and come into that figure four that we often do, so bringing one ankle onto the knee and then hugging the legs in towards the chest. That is the reclined version of this. Kind of targets into the same areas. Feels really good. Lots of people just love the pigeon though. All right, couple more rounds of breath here. Nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. Beautiful. If you're all the way down, let's start to come up either to elbows, hands for elbows, pressing into those hands. I'm going to tuck my right toes under those back toes and scooch up a little bit more forward. Remove any blocks or props that you have. And then I'm just going to kick back into a downward dog. You have the option just to roll out of this, so rolling towards the right. But I like to lift that back leg, kick the left leg back up, and plant it down back in your downward dog. This is great because then you can feel the difference from one side to the other and sets you up easily to get back into it on the other side. So however you want out of it, take a little moment, find yourself back in tabletop or downward dog. Beautiful. Let's bring a bend to that right knee and bring right knee towards right wrist. Drop the foot down, untuck left toes, and walk the leg back. Starting by being nice and strong here. If you have lots of space, maybe you tuck a little block under that right sits bone. Nice and strong. Let's squeeze those glutes together, press the legs into the floor, so strong. Maybe bring the hands onto the leg or float the hands up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Take your little moment here, find that strength, and then you can bow things down. Yeah, coming into that sleeping pigeon, sleeping swan. Maybe you go for the quad stretch. Excellent. Starting to settle in. Be here for about 2 minutes. So adjusting as you need to. Finding that sweet spot. It doesn't have to look like anything in particular. So if you've seen lots of posts of this pose, or the corrections of the pose, I kind of hate them. Mostly because everyone's hips are so crazy different. So I have zero expectation. I'm just gonna workshop this for 2 minutes here. I guess 1 minute. I have zero expectation that your ankle be in line with your knee. That's a very common cue or way into this. That can be really damaging on your knee. And so really wherever your foot lands works really well for it. So whatever is most naturally intuitive for the body is probably the best version of it for the body. There's lots of it that say your hips need to be like perfectly flat and square. Not only works if you have really open hips. As you see, I'm kind of at a bit of an angle with my hips here. Why is that? Well, because my right hip is really tight and I have a hard time getting it down. And so it kind of falls open. I also have a stomach that gets in the way. So well, that's a big part of it. I'm not this skinny little stick trying to get into this pose and posture. So what is important on this is that you're feeling it where you need to on the right hip, that you're protecting through that right knee, and that you're propping and supporting the body where it needs to be. I can do this pose without a block, and then I just have more weight on my right knee, and I don't love that. So as I work on lengthening into those muscles, I use the props to help relieve some of that pressure, help bring the ground a little closer. Because if I could get down all the way, then the ground would be supporting that and I wouldn't have the weight there anyways. So it's not a punishment. I'm not doing the pose properly by using a block. It actually is helping you feel where you would usually feel it if you had that length or the strength in order to do so. So that's my 2 cents on this. And that is our time for holding this posture. So let's take another nice big inhale, nice exhale. See if you can soften. See if you're holding and squeezing onto that tension. Can you let it go? And when you're ready, start to press in. Coming back up to elbows if you're flat down, or press into your hands. Coming up. Tuck those left toes under. Press the body a little bit more forward. Coming up. Remove those props. Pressing firm into the hands. Let's press into those back toes. Lift the knee. Press into those hands. Lift that right leg. Bring it back to your downward dog. You can pedal it out. Let it feel really good. So nice. So good. Let's drop the knees down. And swing around. Rolling down onto our backs. Beautiful. Roll those shoulder blades back and down. Nice little tuck in the chin. Feeling that low back pressing into the mat. Let's just reset the spine. Either hugging the knees in towards the chest or reaching through the knees for the feet. Bring the feet up to the sky, knees dragging towards the body. Pull into the feet, kick into the hands. Build that beautiful resistance, extend the head nice and long. And exhale, relax. Take a little moment for your freestyle. If there's another pose or movement you'd love to explore before settling into your final Shavasana, go ahead and do so. But your reclined cobbler would feel really good today after all our hip work. Stretching into those inner thighs. Getting external rotation. You can get internal rotation by walking the feet apart, letting the knees draw inward. Just be mindful of the knee. Connecting in with the breath. And then when you're ready, you can settle into your final pose, that final posture if you're not playing around with different poses and movements from your freestyle. As you're settling into your final Shavasana, start to notice the body. Start to notice the breath again. Let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths that exhale to the side together. So let's breathe in nice and deep, breathing into the belly. Exhale, let it out. One more nice big inhale. And side out. Last one, beautiful inhale. Really fill the abdomen as much as you can. Fill the lungs and exhale. Feeling that softness the breath creates. Letting the breath be your anchor. And as you take some time to scan through the body or simply enjoy the sun on your face or the movement of breath throughout the body, this is where I will leave you to take all the time that you need for your final Shavasana, for your final pose. I'll roll up to say goodbye. You're welcome to stay in that pose and position. I thank you so very much for joining me on this Monday morning for a little yoga. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you find joy in every moment, and I pray that you are always blessed. So thank you, and namaste. We'll see you next time.